Have you ever felt that nagging frustration? You know, the one where you desperately want to change something about your life, but, well, it just feels like you keep hitting the same invisible wall.
Oh, absolutely. We've all been there, I think.
Yeah.
Wanting to evolve, break free,
Yeah.
but somehow just feeling stuck.
In a loop.
Exactly, a loop. Well, today on the Deep Dive, we're plunging into some really transformative insights from Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, breaking the habit of being yourself.
It's powerful stuff.
It really is. Our mission basically is to give you a shortcut, to sort of distill how you can fundamentally rewrite your mental and emotional circuitry, offering you hopefully a much deeper understanding of that connection between your inner world and, well, your outer reality.
And what's so revolutionary about Dr. Dispenza's approach, I think, is how he just seamlessly blends, cutting-edge science, neuroscience, quantum physics with really practical, real-life applications.
Right. It's not just theory. Not at all. The core message is powerful. It's direct. What you think and feel today literally shapes how you live tomorrow. It's about realizing that these subtle conscious shifts in how we use our brains, they aren't just abstract ideas.
Okay.
They are, as he puts it, the quantum key. That precise energetic frequency, that intention, that's what creates these profound life-affirming changes in your body, your experiences, relationships.
The quantum key. I like that.
Yeah. It's not just theory. It's really a practical manual for transformation.
Okay, so let's start maybe by challenging some really fundamental ideas about reality itself. Ideas that have been, ingrained in us for centuries.
Right, like the old mechanistic view.
Exactly. For a long time, thinkers like René Descartes, Isaac Newton, they championed this very predictable view of the universe. Everything operated on rigid external laws.
Yeah, suggesting we humans had very little influence, like billiard balls just bouncing around.
Right. It made us feel almost subconsciously like just observers, maybe even victims, in this predetermined system.
And that classical model saw everything as solid matter, didn't it? With energy just being some external force acting on it. But then, boom, a huge shift. Albert Einstein's immanency, that just completely upended everything.
Right. Energy and matter are interchangeable.
Exactly. One and the same. And then quantum physics comes along and reveals that atoms, the building blocks of everything we think is solid, they aren't solid at all.
Mostly empty space.
Almost entirely.
Yeah.
Like 99.99999% energy, vibrating energy, and only a tiny fraction is matter.
Wow.
So this means energy is the very fabric of all material things. And here's the kicker. It's responsive to mind, responsive to thought.
Okay, hold on. So if all matter is really energy and that energy has consciousness or is responsive to consciousness, then my consciousness, my mind and energy matter, they're like intertwined.
Entangled.
Intimately entangled, that's the word. You are, as Dr. Dispenza puts it, mindful matter, powerful enough to influence reality directly.
That's a huge shift from feeling like a victim of circumstances. It's a complete reimagining of our place, isn't it?
Yeah.
From passive observers to active participants, co-creators, really.
So how does that work in practice? Like, how does my mind actually affect matter?
Well, we see hints of it in studies,
Yeah.
like the one from the Heart Math Research Center. It's pretty fascinating.
Okay, tell me about that.
So they had a group of trained participants, right? And they had them generate really positive emotions, love, appreciation, that kind of thing.
Okay.
But just feeling good wasn't enough. They also had to hold a clear, focused intention. In this case, it was to either wind or unwind strands of DNA in a test tube.
Wait, win DNA with their minds?
With their focused intention and emotion. And the results. They caused statistically significant changes.
Up to 25% alteration in the DNA's shape.
It's just by focusing and feeling.
Just by focusing and feeling coherently, it shows that our mind, our focused energy, can have a measurable effect on physical matter.
So it's not just woo-woo thinking. There's actual data.
There's data suggesting a powerful connection, and this leads to the idea of coherence.
Coherence, okay. Think of it like this. Thoughts are the language of the brain, right? They're electric signals. And feelings are the language of the body. They're more like magnetic signals.
Oh.
When those two align, when your thoughts and feelings are in sync, sending the same message, that's when you send a coherent, powerful electromagnetic signal out into the quantum field.
The quantum field. That invisible energy field connecting everything.
Exactly. It's like tuning your radio to a specific station. If you want wealth, for instance, but you feel lack, feel poor deep down.
You're sending static.
You're sending an incoherent mixed message, like trying to tune into two stations at once. The field doesn't know what frequency to lock onto, so you don't get consistent results.
That makes so much sense. So if your thoughts really do create your life, wouldn't you want to be intentional about it every single day?
You'd think so. And this is where the quantum outcomes idea comes in. If you're truly tapping into this field, the results shouldn't just be predictable little changes.
What should they be?
They should be surprising, astonishing even. Things should manifest in a way you couldn't possibly have predicted or orchestrated yourself. That's how you know your consciousness made contact, that you moved beyond just your own limited thinking.
Leaving no doubt that something bigger was at play.
Exactly. It's about letting go of the how and trusting the feel to organize the event.
And this influence, it can go beyond just the present moment.
Well, some studies suggest it might even transcend linear time. There's this pretty controversial but fascinating study by Dr. Leonard Lebovici back in 2000.
Okay.
He did a trial with sepsis patients. But here's the twist. One group received retroactive prayer, meaning people in the year 2000 prayed for patients who had been hospitalized way back between 1988 and 1992.
Praying for people in the past.
Yeah, retroactively. And the results showed that the group who received the prayers years later actually had statistically significant benefits back then: earlier decrease in fever, shorter hospital stays.
Whoa. That's hard to wrap your head around.
It definitely challenges our usual understanding of time. It suggests our coherent thoughts and feelings might ripple outwards, influencing past, present, and future.
Okay, so if we want to really tap into this power, influence our environment, heal our body, change our future, we need to get past our usual limitations.
Precisely.
Oh,
And that brings us to what Dr. Dispenza calls the big three.
the big three. What are they?
You have to let go of your external world, your environment. Become no thing.
Okay, detach from surroundings.
Then release your awareness of your physical body. Become no body.
Detach from physical sensations.
And finally, lose track of time. Become no time.
Timelessness.
When you do that, you essentially become pure consciousness.
Yeah.
You're no longer the familiar somebody defined by your past, your body, your schedule. You become a nobody, accessing that field of infinite potentials.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit more. Our brains, they're like a complete record of our past, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every person, place, thing, experience. It's all configured, stored in our neural networks, like a living archive.
So if we keep letting our external world, our boss, the news, traffic, whatever, dictate how we think and feel,
Then you're constantly firing and wiring those same old circuits. You're hardwiring your brain to just reflect those familiar, often negative circumstances.
and the result is you just create more of the same. You're stuck in that loop we talked about.
Exactly. And this is where the really profound concept of the body as the mind comes in.
The body as the mind.
Yeah.
Okay, what does that mean exactly?
It means when we relive past events, especially emotionally charged ones, we don't just remember them mentally. Our body actually duplicates the same chemicals as if the event were happening right now.
So if I remember an argument, my body floods with stress hormones again.
Precisely. And if you do this over and over, you condition the body to memorize that emotion. It becomes the default state.
Wow.
This unconscious repetition creates a habit. The body literally remembers that feeling, that chemical state, better than our conscious mind does. It becomes an automatic program.
So by the time we're, what, in our mid-30s?
Yeah, Dispenza says by then, like 95% of who we are is just this set of subconscious programs. Automatic behaviors, ingrained attitudes, knee-jerk emotional reactions.
Like constantly worrying or blaming or feeling unhappy. It's just automatic.
Largely, yes. The body, which is supposed to be the servant of the mind, has effectively become the master. It's running the show based on past programming.
So my body can literally be addicted to feeling, say, guilty.
That's a perfect example he uses. If you habitually feel guilty, your cells are constantly bathed in those guilt-related chemicals. They actually adapt. The receptor sites change.
They get used to it.
More than used to it. They become addicted to it.
Yeah.
They need a higher and higher dose of guilt just to feel normal or alive.
That's incredible.
So when you consciously try to change, try not to feel guilty, your body rebels. It literally sends signals up to the brain, creating cravings, urges, what he calls subvocalizations.
Like an inner voice saying, come on, just feel bad for a minute.
Exactly. It's trying to pull you back to its familiar chemical state. It's like drug withdrawal for emotions. The body is demanding its chemical fix.
So this really highlights why just trying to think positive often doesn't work, doesn't it?
It's an uphill battle for sure.
If your body is subconsciously programmed for years maybe to feel anxious or unworthy, positive thoughts alone might not cut it.
Right, because the body has been conditioned. It knows that negative state physiologically. Emotions, remember, are the end products of past experiences. If we keep feeling the same ones, we're biologically anchored to the past.
Okay, but we're not doomed by this, right? There's a way out.
Absolutely. And this is where epigenetics comes in. It's
Yeah.
a game changer.
Epigenetics, that's about how genes are expressed, not changed.
Exactly. The old idea of genetic determinism, that our genes dictate our destiny, fixed and unchangeable, is largely a myth.
Okay.
Epigenetics shows that genes are like light switches. They can be turned on or off by factors outside the cell. And guess what one of the main signaling factors is?
Our thoughts and feelings.
Bingo. Our internal state, our choices, our environment. They send signals that can instruct our genes to express themselves differently. We can literally signal new genes in new ways and change our health, our future.
Wow. Is there evidence for this?
Oh, yeah. There's a fantastic Japanese study involving type 2 diabetics.
Okay.
They had two groups, both ate the same meal. Afterwards, one group watched a comedy show for an hour, while the other watched a boring lecture.
I know which group I'd want to be in.
Right. And get this, the group that laughed, the ones who experienced joy and elevated emotions, their blood sugar levels after the meal rose only about half as much as the lecture group,
Just from laughing.
just from shifting their state of mind. But even more incredibly, genetic analysis showed they had significantly altered the expression of 23 different genes related to blood sugar regulation,
23 genes. Just from watching a funny movie.
just from cultivating an elevated state of mind. It shows that stress and negative emotions can pull the genetic triggers for disease, absolutely. But elevated, positive emotions can pull the triggers for health and healing. Your inner state literally dictates your biological reality.
Okay, so if our body can become the mind, addicted to old emotions, but our genes aren't our fixed destiny, how do we actually break the cycle? How do we overcome that big three, conditioning the attachment to our environment, body, and time?
It boils down to making a fundamental shift, moving from what Dr. Dispenza calls survival mode into creation mode.
Survival versus creation, what's the difference?
Well, survival mode is basically running on the fight or flight system. You're constantly focused on the external world, potential threats, dangers, competition. That 0.00001% physical reality.
Okay, very outward focused.
Right. It makes us materialistic, focused on things. It generates those lower frequency stress-based emotions, anger, fear, shame, guilt. And these ground us more firmly into matter, into our bodies.
And it makes us kind of selfish, trying to control outcomes.
Exactly. You're trying to predict the future based entirely on the past because that feels safer. You're reacting to the world.
Okay, so what's creation mode?
Creation mode is the opposite. It's about living as that nobody. We talked about selfless, pure consciousness. Your focus shifts inward. The external environment, your body, even time, they start to fade in importance.
Becoming less aware of the outer, more aware of the inner.
Precisely. This state involves cultivating higher frequency emotions. Love, joy, gratitude, awe. These make us feel less like a dense particle and more like a wave of energy, more connected, more expansive. You're acting on the world from within.
And our brain plays a key role here, especially the frontal lobe.
Absolutely. The frontal lobe is like your CEO.
Sure.
In creation mode, it does several crucial things. First, it allows you to observe your old self. That's metacognition.
Becoming conscious of the unconscious patterns.
Exactly. Seeing your thoughts, behaviors, emotions, without judgment, just noticing them.
Nah.
Second, the frontal lobe is where you create a new mind. You can combine different neural networks, different pieces of knowledge and experience to design an ideal future self. You ask, what if?
You envision possibilities.
Yes. And third, and this is really cool, it helps you make thought more real than anything else. It can literally lower the volume on sensory input from your body and the external world and quiet the brain circuits associated with time.
So your inner world becomes more vivid than the outer world.
That's the goal. Your internal vision, your intention becomes incredibly real, almost tangible. You're basically pre-paving your future reality internally.
Okay, so how do we actually do this? This sounds great, but what's the process?
This is where the meditative process comes in. It's the practical tool.
Right, the how-to.
The main purpose is to consciously shift your brainwaves, to move out of the active analytical beta state.
Where most of us live our waking lives.
Exactly. And move into the slower alpha and theta states. These are the realms of the subconscious mind. That's where the operating system lives, the place where those automatic programs are stored.
So meditation gets you access to the control panel, basically.
It's a great way to put it. And the process he outlines is structured. It builds week by week
Well, now,
conceptually.
okay, walk us through the steps, maybe a quick overview.
Sure. So conceptually, the first stage is induction. You use techniques, maybe like a body scan or focusing on the space around you, to become no body, no thing, no time. You disassociate from your known reality, feel boundless, like pure awareness.
Getting beyond the usual self.
Exactly. Then you move into recognizing, admitting, and surrendering. This is key. You pick a specific self-limiting emotion you want to change, say unworthiness or anger.
Okay.
You really tune into it. How does it feel in your body? What thoughts go with it? You become aware. Then you admit it. You vulnerably acknowledge to yourself or to a universal consciousness who you've been when feeling that way. And you declare you're releasing it.
That sounds free.
It is. It frees up all the energy that was tied up in holding on to that old emotion. Then you surrender it. You hand over that limitation to a greater mind, trusting it will resolve it in ways you can't predict. And crucially, you give thanks before it happens. You feel gratitude for the solution now.
Gratitude in advance. Powerful. What's next?
Next comes observing and reminding, then redirecting. This is about sharpening that metacognition. You become super familiar with the thoughts, urges, and actions of your old self. You watch it like a hawk.
So you can catch it before it takes over.
Precisely. And when you do catch those old patterns trying to creep back in, the negative thought, the familiar reaction, you literally interrupt it. You might say, change, out loud or silently.
Break the pattern.
Break the associative memory. Stop feeding it energy. Then you redirect your attention to your new vision.
Okay, and the final stage.
The final and really ongoing stage is creating and rehearsing the new you. This is where you actively contemplate your ideal self. How would that person think? How would they act? How would they feel?
You build a new model.
And you mentally rehearse it over and over.
Mm-hmm.
Feel the feelings of that future now. This is like those piano players who practiced mentally and actually changed their brains. You're installing the neurological hardware for your future self.
So you make the new state familiar, automatic.
Until it becomes unconsciously skilled, you are biologically changing your brain and body ahead of the actual experience. You're becoming that person from the inside out.
Wow. So this whole process, it's designed to close that gap, right? The gap between how we appear and who we really are inside.
Exactly. When you liberate your body from depending on those old familiar emotions, all that energy that was locked up gets released. It goes back into the quantum field, available for creation. You become more transparent. How you appear authentically matches who you are. There's no more hiding or pretending.
That sounds like real freedom. Can you share an example? Does this actually work for people?
Oh, absolutely. He shares many stories, but Monique's story is a great one. She was a therapist, actually, living in Montreal, and she was just stuck in this pervasive state of lack. Not enough money, not enough energy, not enough time, just feeling constantly drained and limited.
Sounds familiar for many people.
Right. So she started doing the meditations, really committed to changing her state of being. She worked on feeling abundance, envisioning it, embodying it.
She rehearsed being abundant.
Yes. And then, crucially, she started acting differently. Something shifted. The old Monique would never have bought a lottery ticket. Seemed frivolous. A waste of money when you feel lack.
Right.
But the new Monique, operating from this budding feeling of abundance, just impulsively bought one day.
Yeah.
She won. Not millions, but exactly $53,000.
Whoa.
And guess what? That was the precise amount she needed to pay off all her outstanding credit card debt and her car loan. Every penny.
That's uncanny, an unexpected outcome, perfectly orchestrated.
Perfectly orchestrated by the field is how Dispenza would frame it. She changed her personality, her thoughts, feelings, and actions, and her personal reality shifted to match it perfectly. She became abundance, and abundance showed up. #tag outro.
Wow. What Monique's story, and really all of Dr. Dispenza's work, hammers home is that, well, you really can actively decide to stop being your old self.
It's a conscious choice.
You can reprogram those unconscious patterns, those bodily addictions to emotions, and literally design a new destiny for yourself. One thought, one feeling, one choice at a time.
Taking the reins back. Not being a victim of your biology, but becoming its master.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's about cultivating that inner coherence we talked about, transcending those familiar limitations of the environment, the body, the time constraints, And in doing so, you naturally become more loving, more conscious, more willful.
Why those qualities specifically?
Because that's the nature of the intelligence within us, the nature of the quantum field itself. It's coherent, it's loving, it's creative. So by aligning with it, you embody those qualities. You're literally making true greatness your new habit.
Making greatness a habit. I love that. It's an ongoing practice, an evolution from within. So for you listening, maybe we can leave you with this thought, kind of a provocative one. If your thoughts and feelings genuinely shape your reality, what unrealistic nonsense, as the old you might call it, what are you brave enough to start pursuing? Independent of your current environment, independent of your body's current feelings or limitations, independent of your usual sense of time. What future are you willing to rehearse until it becomes your reality?
What truth do you want to become the living example of?
Just imagine the possibilities that open up when you truly grasp that you're not just observing reality, you are actively creating it moment by moment.